Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brenneman here, and you're stepping inside the mayor's office. Here's your host, Sean Casey.
Boom! I love that open chitch. Marty Brenneman coming in hot. You got to love it, man. How's everything going, brother? What's going on with you?
Everything's going good, man. It's actually warming up here in the New York area a little bit. It's been nice. How about you? What's going on with you?
It's been nice here in Pittsburgh, too, and I've been doing a couple things, trying to entertain myself. You ever seen Sebastian Maniscalco? I think he's the greatest comedian going right now. One of the funniest guys. I feel like he's a New York Italian, so I figured you know who he is.
Chicago.
That's right. He's in Chicago.
People.
That's right.
Come from the same cloth, though. You saw him? When did you see him?
Dude, just went to see him last week in Pittsburgh and literally laughed for an hour and a half straight. Like literally, unbelievable new stuff he has, and just so good, man. So good.
He resonates.
So good.
Everything is like, oh yeah, my family went through that. My family went through that. He's hysterical. He's the best.
Yeah.
What else?
No, he does it. Yeah, you relate to it so well. I'm going to see REO. Speaking of old school and some great tunes and old school things we used to, I'm going to see REO Speedwagon.
Wow. That is
man.
Sick. When?
I can't wait. I'm going tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Every time I talk to this guy, he's like, oh yeah, no, sorry. I'll call you later because I'm going to see, Pavarotti tonight and whatever. And I'm like, what? First of all,
no, it's time for me to fly.
Pittsburgh gets a lot of big bands, huh? A lot of big
events.
Pittsburgh's
great, man. It's underrated as far as like they get, there's great bands come in, all the sporting events you want. It's a big city feel, but it's a smaller city. That's great, awesome. Man. Everything you get in New York comes through Pittsburgh, so
sick.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we got a big one today, though, huh? Big.
Yeah, we got a great one today, brother. Greg Vaughn coming on with us, which one of my favorite teammates ever. 99 Reds, man, what a great team. But before we bring Vaughn on, let's get a word from our sponsor, Manscaped. Ho ho ho, gentlemen! The holidays have come early this year as Manscaped have the gift that keeps on trimming. Santa's beard isn't so appealing when it's coming out of your trousers. And that's why Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have you covered this holiday season. Now available in your country. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to keep their trees trimmed and ornaments polished. Go to manscaped.com and use code THEMAYOR for 20% off plus shipping. I'll tell you what, I know this firsthand. If you want a great holiday gift for everybody, trust one of the hairiest guys going. I'll tell you what, I've had the Manscaped 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, the lawnmower, now the lawnmower 4.0. What a gift. This thing trims all parts of your body. It's sleek. The light goes on, which is great so you can see. It's waterproof. But I tell you what, one of the biggest things, I've had clippers so many years now, and they grab you, they nick you up, all that stuff. This Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, this is the gift for everybody out there. Men, women, go get this chance. You need it, brother.
Yes.
You need it big
no,
time.
I need it.
You're not as hairy as I am, but you need it anyhow.
No, I lost some of my hair here. It went into my ears, through my nose. I use a Manscaper for that, number one. And number two, what Sean's saying is absolutely true because when he doesn't shave, it's like Teen Wolf. It's scary. It's frightening. He's so good looking. Look at him right now. And the only reason is because he manscapes. I'm going to tell you how to get it right now. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code THEMAYOR, right? That's you, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the Mayor code, and you clean yourself up and be nice for Santa. You get the cookies during the holidays.
Yes, you do. Go get yourself a Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 for the holidays, Chinch. All right, Chinchy, we're back, baby. Yes. We are back, and man, I'm looking forward to this one, brother. This guy means so much to me when I go back to being a young buck back with the Cincinnati Reds. Let's talk about what he did first. 15 years in the big leagues, came up with the Brewers, 4th overall pick by the Brewers. That means you're really good if that happens to you. 1986, had 355 career homers, over 1,000 RBIs, 59 stolen bases, which I think he maybe had more than that. I think it was over 100 stolen bases. I'm not sure. We'll have to clarify that. 4-time All-Star, hit 50 home runs in 1998 with the Padres and came back and hit 45 with the Reds in 1999. That 99 team was one of my favorite teams. This guy's one of my favorite all-time teammates, and anyone on that team, 99 Reds, would say, let's bring in my man, Greg Vaughn.
Yeah, Casey the man. That energy. I still remember the first time I got a hit in San Diego. I think you're more happy for me than I got to first base than I was. You know what I mean? It's the same energy. I mean, one of my favorites, man. I mean, I don't know anyone that can say anything bad about Case. I mean, he's the man.
By the way,
Dude,
confirm Case, 121 stolen bases.
121. I knew that.
My
when I
bad.
saw 59, I think we typoed. I was like, I think he had 121. Bonnie could actually run a little bit. You know what I mean? He could pick it in the outfield and he could run. So not only did he hit bombs. Hey, Vonnie, let's go. Well, first off, before you came on this morning, bro, you're like, hey, Case, I can't come on till 10:30 because I got hot yoga class this morning. Take us through that, bro. Like, what's going on? Greg Vaughn does hot yoga now.
Hey, you know what, Case? And I wish I would have did it when I played. To take all the stress off my body. We're hitting the weight room and running and beating our body up, and then you're beating it up again during the season. I mean, yoga, I think I gained a quarter of an inch taller too, because, it straightens out your spine, you sit taller, namaste, you know what I mean? Hey, but they almost killed me today, dude, though. It was hot in there today, and I was right underneath the vent, and, it's just a way for me to, between that and, riding my road bike and playing lots of golf. Last week I was in a PGA National, so I had a week off, so today was the first day back, and they killed me.
Dude, it's true though, Vonnie, because when we were playing, I know for me, like when I was playing, like I'm still an idiot though. Like a couple weeks ago, I was still lifting the way I lift. I'm doing the seated row machine, blow out my bicep. I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? So like, I think things are, as we get older, the yogas. I do the Peloton too, but like you said, like the cardio and the stretching and the yoga and the peace of mind and all that stuff. I think that probably is more important for us now, but I also think the younger generation, they're into that. I saw Bryce Harper doing Pilates, I think more guys are doing yoga, that stretching and all that stuff. Would you agree? Like if we played now, maybe yoga is part of our everyday, routine.
Yeah, I think yoga is. And, when I was back in Cincinnati, they have a Pilates instructor that travels with them, you know what I mean? So it's, but after all the surgeries, I had, it has to be hot. You know what I mean? to do it just in the normal temperature, it probably wouldn't work too well for me. But if I could do it all over again, Case, a funny story. In high school, when you play football and you walk by the wrestling room, just the smell just scared you. So I stopped in the yoga studio like during my career about 3 different times. But every time I opened the door, I was like, I wanted to throw up. So I didn't do it when I played. But, after I was done playing, that's what I've been doing. And like I said, it does give me a peace of mind. And like I said, it's benefited me at my age. It's more beneficial than me trying to pound weights and bench press. And, I beat my body up enough, So between the road bike, lots of golf, and, the yoga, and lots of GB23 wine, it's keeping me going.
You got it. It seems like a lot of guys got their, wine companies now. Like I know you got your own GV23 wine. How's that going, Bonnie?
It's going pretty good. And hopefully it'll be in the stadium in Cincinnati this year, and the surrounding restaurants, we're working on distributorship, with people down there. And like I said, it was a way for me to generate revenue for my foundation, Bonds Valley, during the pandemic. I didn't want to have my golf tournaments and get people together and risk someone getting, sick or spreading the COVID. And so I partnered with E2 Family Winery, and it's been a hit. I mean, it's actually, everyone's saying how good it is. I was with Prince Fielder and Gary Sheffield and all those guys this past week, and they were like, man, I need some of this. You didn't do this, but I did it, with the winemaker, we went in there and I wanted the wine to taste like something I would drink, you know what I mean? And,
right.
Some people like it, some don't, but, that's just the way of the world. Some people like me as a player or as a person, some people don't. And, it was a way for me to generate revenue. And during COVID, Bonds Valley, we fed over 1 million people during COVID.
Wow.
We gave away a lot of PPE. We, the distance learning, Chromebooks to whiteboards, so it was a way, for me to continue to help, in my communities. And I consider every team and every state that I played in a part of my community. So
Nice.
Yeah.
it was
Vaughn,
very good.
Vaughnie, I mean, that's what listen, brother, when you came over to all of us, we had a lot of young bucks on that team, me and Pokey Reese and Aaron Boone, Dimitri Young, a lot of young guys in that team. And you kind of came over as the leadership voice, kind of that guy that, really brought people together. I really look back at that team. It's up in my mantle. It was my favorite team. It was my favorite team ever. But you were kind of the guy we rallied around. I think that was cool. That community you built, and you were always kind of service. What was funny for me was, even at times when you struggled, the one thing I really took from you moving forward in my career was, even in the times you struggled, you were the same guy day in and day out. You were always upbeat. You were always pulling for everybody. And I see that too, like, what you're doing in your community and the Vaughn Valley Foundation. Can you talk about why did you start the Vaughn Valley Foundation? Why was that so important to you?
Well, I think, I initially started, we were talking about my oldest son, Corey, who, was around a lot,
Yeah.
And so it was, at age 11, I was in Toronto, and I got this late night phone call, because he eats everything, and, he wasn't eating, he wasn't really drinking much, but he, was urinating a lot. And, of course, the pediatrician kept saying that, there wasn't a lot of quote unquote knowledge of juvenile diabetes. So they were like, oh, he has the flu. I was like, no, this isn't the flu. You know what I mean? So then, talking to some people, he happened to be with some good friends of mine, and they're like, this isn't like Corey. He could eat his food, my food, and somebody else's food. And, and so they took, so my ex-wife took him in, and, he had type 1 diabetes. So the first thing I did was, isn't that for old, fat people? You know what I mean? Right. Juvenile diabetes at the time. I didn't know much about it. It wasn't in my family a lot. And, that's when your pancreas just decides to quit producing insulin. So, I played in all these charity events, and, and was out there for different types of organizations. I said, how about if I start Vaughn Valley and try to find a cure for, juvenile diabetes? And then as it evolved, it was whatever was going on in the community. I didn't want to be pigeonholed into just type 1 diabetes, because, everything's important to me. Everything that's going around in my community, like I said, we were talking about COVID earlier, or, just kids that don't have food, kids that don't have, they're not going to get Christmas presents, whatever we can do to enlighten and, brighten those kids' future, that's what we do. But that's how it came about. And, for, the galas, and it just got hard. It's hard for me to go out and ask people to give to something. You know what I mean? I don't like asking people for anything. So yeah, they say, oh, you have all this, you have that, but it takes a village to try to make a difference. I'm trying to make a worldwide difference. It wasn't about, a difference in my household or, my bank account. And then I let Vaughn Valley sort of go a little bit. And then I brought it back towards the end. And, like I said, they started it. I had my own valley in Milwaukee. I mean, no matter if we had 15,000 or 20,000, Vaughn Valley was always packed with the big sign out there. And, so I brought that with it, and that's the name of it. And, till this day, going to fantasy camp or doing stuff, for the Brewers, everyone says, now they say, hey, when I was growing up. So I'm like, it tells you how old I am now. You know what I mean? so Vaughn Valley.
Vaughnie, what about that with Corey? Because, I mean, gosh, I watching Corey grow up, he ended up playing professional baseball, almost made it to the big leagues to AAA. Back when he gets diagnosed with type juvenile diabetes, what's the message that you say to him? Like, how does things change for you as a dad to make sure he has the right message moving forward in his life?
And I think that was the key. I think I was scared to death inside, because the next day I'm the first flight out. I couldn't leave Toronto in the middle of the night, customs and all that. Right. So the first flight out, didn't say when I was coming back, didn't say I didn't know if I was coming back. It was just time to go. So I went, landed straight to the hospital, and I think I did all my breaking down before I got in the room, because my ex-wife, my wife at the time, who's now my ex, she was in there, and as a mom, she's blaming herself, and which she did nothing wrong. It's just one of those unforeseen things that happen in life. But I stayed there for 5 days straight, and I just tried to ease his mind and talk, and I tried to tell him, God chose you for a reason. You know what I mean? To be a mentor, to have other kids that have this type of disease, show them that they can still live a normal and be successful and healthy life, as long as you take care of yourself. And, and when that pastor was starting to go in, when you're on the children's board, I would say, Corey, he gave you something that, with the diet and being aware of what you're doing and taking care of yourself, you have a chance. Those other kids don't have a chance. So, we were blessed in that way. And, I'm proud of him that the way he led, he went to Children's Congress. He met a ton of people in diabetes. The diabetes world. We had tremendous doctors, and Dr. Prakasam, from the Southern medical team. Like I said, he's made a difference, and he led by example, and he would even tell jokes because at first he was taking shots, and then we got him on the pump, where it acts like a pancreas for you. And, he was like, Dad, I'd be in the outfield at, San Diego State, and they'd be like, Mom, why you got your cell phone in your back pocket? Or, he had to learn, so he learned to, not to necessarily, hide it, but to be respectful of it, but also acknowledge that he had it and to send a positive message that other kids can still, play sports, still become whatever they want to become. He got to know a lot of people that have, type 1 diabetes, and it's type 1 now because me and you at any day, it went from juvenile that our pancreas can stop. So they had to rename it from juvenile to type 1. And, so he led by example. And, to this day, I tried to get him to really talk about it. I think he deals with it in his own way, but, I'm pretty sure he'd be like, what if I didn't, or how come me? But like I said, the alternative, is better than what we saw in that children's board.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Great kid. I ran into him. I was covering some teams for MLB Network, and I ran into him one night out to dinner, and he walked up to me, man. He's like, hey, I'm Corey Vaughn. I'm Greg's son. I'm like, whoa, man. I was like, big hug for him. I was like, dude, he was so young. And the last time I saw him, just a big dude. He's like, I'm playing, I can't remember who he was playing with at the time, but he's like, I'm at minor league camp right now. And I'm just like, wow, man, just, really, really cool. Really cool to see, how well he's done. What about you, Vaughnie, going back to your days, bro, growing up outside Sacramento, you were a really good athlete, obviously a really good football player too, and probably had some options as far as what you wanted to do. Why did you end up choosing baseball?
The reason I chose baseball is because, as I was raised, I was told if I wanted to make the choices in my life. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be pigeonholed into having to do something. So, there was no arguing or wavering about education or grades. It's my mom's way or you didn't play. I remember, sophomore year I got a C, and you're not playing this week football. Mom, I can't believe you're not letting me play. Well, it's not me. You did it. So I learned I couldn't get a C. And that's the way I tried to raise my kids. The education wasn't wavering. All three of them, went to college. Little Greg's kind of continuous career. He's in Mexico playing right now, and then I was a much better football player than baseball. I was just raw. I was a raw athlete that just did what I had to do. I had the Air Davis going, look big, and I just found a way to hit and run because, I was all-state running back and safety. And, back then I really ran. My only 2 years in the minor, I was 30-30. And then, wow, I hurt my shoulder. And then they were like, no more running. You know what I mean? That's what the base, they said, everybody you hit can steal bases. So I chose baseball just because, I figured longevity. And plus, I wanted to prove people that they couldn't tell me what I could do. You know what I mean? Oh, you're a football player. You should quit baseball. You're not that good. Blah, blah. Okay, I'll prove you guys wrong. Wow. And, plus, the guy upstairs, he looked out for me. I was lucky. It wasn't just me. I was in the right place at the right time, right organization. And I was in an era where, they like athletes and they let you go out and play. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that.
When did you realize that you could do it? And were the scouts saying, no, don't bother? Or they were saying, no, you're better at football? And was there like a certain point where you got up there and you're like, wait a minute, I figured this out. I can not only do this, but I can go pro with this.
This is going to sound funny. I mean, and I'm sure Case can probably attest to this. When I was younger, and the only games there was, every weekend, they would reshow the Notre Dame game early in the morning. You know what I mean? And I watched Montana and Notre Dame, but Jerry Royster is my cousin Ricky Reynolds, my mom's brother's son, Little League all the way up NFL.
Wow.
I believed at an early age I was going to be up there somewhere. You know what I mean? I didn't know what sport, but I believed I was going to do it. So I wasn't going to let anything stop me. And I think seeing the guys that I idolized in Sacramento, Dusty Baker, he's the mayor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dusty's the mayor. He's the godfather, but you got Jerry Manuel, Jerry Rice, Deion James, Steve Sachs, Fernando Antonio, Derek. There's just so many.
Wow.
Lavelle Freeman. We could just go on and on. The Forrest brothers, Nick Johnson.
Right.
We could go on and on. R.J. Reynolds. We could just go on and on. Butch Metzer, Gino Petralli, at my high school. So at one time just out of the Metro League, so we're just talking about the inner city of Sacramento, we had 25 big leaguers from Ricky Jordan, 25 big leaguers and 5 managers.
Wow.
So,
wow.
That's just out of the city of Sacramento. And you take where I live now in Elk Grove, between here and Vegas, Elk Grove High School has 7 off one team with Magical and Rowdy and all those guys off one team in the big league. So, it's spread, and there's so many people here that, people are in the suburbs now, but it's, I've always believed that I was going to make it. And like I said, my heroes growing up, the guys that I idolized, that I go watch, from Darryl Rogers to Reggie Rogers, it was when I seen guys that I idolized come home because of something that they did or, a route they took, I know they can sing my idol song. I could come home at any time too. So I tried to do something different. And, like I said, at the time it worked out. But I made a ton of mistakes since then. You know what I mean? I should have continued that with the rest of my life. But
we all have. All have.
not all of us have hit 300 homers in the big leagues, though. That's
But that's what I thrived on. And to me, getting up, lifting weights, and going out to Arco Arena and being there at 7 o'clock in the morning every day during the off season, that wasn't work to me. That was a gift to be able to do that and to have a job that I actually liked. Yeah. I was frustrated at times, but a job that I actually liked, how can you complain about that, Case? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, and I was fortunate too, like when I came up, Robin Yount, Paul Martin, Dave Parker, who I got to see. When I seen you a couple months ago, you know what I mean? He's looking good. I got to see Parkway, who was a mentor, Willie Randolph, Mike Felder, Glenn Braggs. Wow. I learned the right way. You know what I mean, Rob? I learned how to play the right way. I wasn't, I watched Robin Yount, get his knee drained and go out. It wasn't in the paper. It wasn't this. And if he popped up, he was already halfway to second base or almost there. He wasn't turning around before he hit the bag. And if young guys did do that, we had veterans that pulled him to the side and said, hey, that's not the way we play. You know what I mean? If that guy drops that ball or he boots it, make him stop you, because that can give us a chance to get a run. Slide, me, I played like football, you know what I mean? There's a shortstop or second baseman. And I was trying to not hurt him, but at least, maybe have a chance for my guy to still be on first base and keep the inning going. And the funny thing, I remember I hit Junior one time, Cal, during the streak, and I heard, and I was like, oh God, please get up. Please get up. Please get up. I was like, Junior, you're all right? I said, you all right? He goes, yeah, funny, that was a good one. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like,
oh my God. We've been talking to a different person now.
I'd been out of the game a long time ago.
Bonnie, of all those guys, man, I mean, to even looking back at your career, to come up with guys like Mulder and Gantner and Yount and Dave Parker, is there one of those guys that really like that really, kind of grabbed you on, took you under his wing and showed you? Was there one guy that, that you really gravitated towards?
Well, I think so. I think it'll probably have to be the kid, probably, and I don't want to take away anything from any, because like I said, Tiny, Mike Felder, Glenn Braggs, all those guys are great, but they put me right next to Robin Yount that was my locker mate for 8 years in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Road and home. Huh. So I ate with him. He was like an adopted big brother. I don't want to say dad. Big brother to me, and just well respected throughout the game the way he played. You know what I mean? But like I said, everyone back then was from Chris Bosio. We had 5 guys on the Brewers from my hometown of Sacramento. You know what I mean? So we had 5 guys that I grew up with on one team. So
oh my gosh,
wow.
So it's like I said, I was blessed. I was fortunate to get picked by, Milwaukee. Gary Sheffield. We both went in the first round that year, and we lived together, we roomed together.
Wow.
And, so
tell me about that. What was Chef like? Because I remember having his rated rookie. Like, I think I broke your
that
rated
was a
rookie.
great one.
With the Gary Sheffield rated rookie back in the day with the Brewers.
So
what was Chef like? Like, did you know he was going to be as good as he was when you were with him coming up in the minors?
Never seen anything like it.
Really?
No. And then you had never seen anything. I swear to God. And I watched Nolan Ryan for Shep first 2 pitches. The first time he faced Nolan Ryan, 100 at his head. He bit the left harder, hit the plate, this even harder, and he pulled it over our dugout, like I think went out the stadium. And then next pitch at his head again. He was like, foul ball. Next pitch, he threw him a curveball, raked it off the right center field wall. You know what I mean? But he didn't go get high. He didn't get low. That's just the way he was. He wasn't intimidated. He wasn't scared. Tools. You talking about a cannon and all this? He got a bad rap for some things that weren't his fault, because I'm telling you, he's one of my closest friends. He's like a little brother to me. And the only thing that pissed Shep off is if you were dishonest to him. If you told him you, or as an organization, or as a manager, as a general manager, you're going to do something, he expected you to do it. If not, that was the ultimate betrayal for him. Yeah. And you might as well just kiss the baby, because I'm out. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing else you can do. He's seen how we had to fight. And, like you said, Vaughn, you were 30-30. You're 2 years in the minors. These guys come up and hit 140, 230, and we're switching positions. You know what I mean? And he's like, that pissed him off. You know what I mean? But that's just the way it was. From Dave Winfield, Reggie Jackson, like I said, Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, all those guys, they took, how it was, what was expected, right, being a person of color playing baseball. You know what I mean?
Covering Gary in the media for all the years that I've done it, the impression was always like bad teammate, bad clubhouse guy, whatever. No. Any player that I have ever spoken to, and Sean and all the guys we know, and you just said it, he's like the greatest teammate ever. Like, it's one of the biggest misnomers of a player that everybody loves playing with Gary Sheffield.
Well, it's just the same thing with Ricky Henderson, the best teammate ever too. You know what I mean? And I got a chance to play with, and he's very close to him. Yeah, that's just the media. It's perception. It's right. I guess we can describe it as far left or far right. What's going on right now?
yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? People want to believe what they want to believe, but he's not just a great player, but he's a better person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shep is, like I said, he's one of my closest friends. He's like a little brother to me. And, it's sad that the media portrayed him to, be this villain. But like I said, if you were dishonest as an organization or as a manager, or he didn't think something was fair, he let it be known, and he didn't care who he said it to. and he didn't care if that meant him getting traded, him going somewhere else. If you pissed him off, that was wrong. And they're like, Bonnie, you got to talk to him. I'm like, I didn't do it. You got to talk to him. You know, but like I said, that was the ultimate thing with Shep is betrayal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't be dishonest, because one thing about it is he will tell you the truth, and he will always tell you the truth, and that's it. So he expects the same thing in return.
Yeah, no, man. I just saw Chef a couple weeks ago. I was at David Ortiz's golf event, and Chef was there, and he was one of my favorite teammates. 06 in 2007 with the Tigers. Man, I'd never seen. And obviously playing against him my whole career, I'd never seen a guy hit the ball so hard, Vonnie. I mean, like, it was just so loud, so hard. And, you know, and that I remember one time I was struggling, Vonnie, and he goes, Case, he goes, just do like I do, like just get up there and relax. I'm like, relax? You look like you're about to have a seizure up there. I was like, I didn't know you could be relaxed like that, Chef. He's like, yeah, I'm really relaxed up here when I'm about to hit a missile somewhere. So
I tell you, Case, I mean, to be 19 years old and be in the big leagues and have hand-eye coordination like he had.
Oh, next level.
And a freaking cannon. He could have put him on the mound. He probably went through 97, 98.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he has three boys that, you know, that are tearing it up right now, too. Young ones that are 14 and, you know, I think 14, 12, and 10, you know, that are just, they're lighting it up. So, you know, from that pedigree, I mean, he, you know, Shep is, like I said, he's just special. You know, I had to work hard, Case. You know, you see me every day in the cage, you're grinding and all that. Some people, you know, the Lord gave me some talent, but sometimes the Lord gives other people a little bit more talent. You know, you take Ken Griffey Jr.,
yeah,
Robbie Alomar. You know, you take those guys that were just, you know, were special. You know what I mean? You know, super
special. Yeah, super talent, like next level.
Yeah, you know.
One of the guys, Vonnie, that you played with, obviously, you know, I don't know much about. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, and you know, he was such a good player. But you know, I don't know him well as a human being. But when I look at you and your style, Vonnie, you were very simple. You were very short to the ball, very quick. It kind of reminds me a little of Paul Molitor. Like when I see how, like, man, there's not a lot of movement here. It's really simple. It's not a huge leg kick. It's A to B. I mean, you were so good direct to the baseball. Did Molitor have any part for, you know, you developing your swing?
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, once again, you're talking about another guy that went from junior year of college to the big leagues, Robin Yount, out of high school to the big leagues. You know, he's in that special place, you know, that HOF, you know what I mean? It's a special place for special people. And, you know, Paulie kept it simple, man, from line to line. And I'm telling you, if he didn't have the leg problems and, you know, the freak injuries that he had, he would have been the closest to Pete's record as far as breaking that hits record, because I'm telling you, man, I've never seen it. When I played, I played against, like I said, George Brett, those guys, and back then we played double headers. All those guys go 8 for 10 off Cy Young winners. I mean, it was loud. You know, Don Hadley, Kirby Puckett, Dave Winfield. You know, I played against an era, but I mean, everybody. Yeah. I mean, they had exit below and all that other stuff. It'd have been off the charts, because those guys, and they went line to line, but they know how to move a runner too. We were taught by guys that played baseball, you know what I mean, in the minor leagues. We were taught by, and we had coaches in the big leagues that most of them played at some point. And so I think these guys are bigger, they're stronger, way more talented, faster. I just think, you know, I'd love to have every X-Men in the game have a guy on second base start off. You know what I mean? you got three guys over here.
Unbelievable.
I mean, Case will tell you, in BP, I never hit one ball to the left side. I hit everything to the right side. Just try to stay on the ball. It wasn't about, you know, I was trying to prepare myself for the game. I knew they're going to be hard in and then try to get me out of the way. I mean, everybody. And then you had the guys with the cutters. And if it started middle, let it go. But Tony Gwynn probably helped me the most, helped me evolve the most, you know, with the simple, because after I left becoming the first guy to hit 50 and get traded and coming to you guys, I hit with him every single day, you know, and he kept it so simple, man. And he would, you know, he'd just, hey, man, get the foot down, take the swing. I'm like, It ain't that simple, T. It's not that simple. But I'm telling you, you got the appreciation that he wasn't a puncher. Tony hit the ball hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had that 5.5 on the shoes. But if you left that 4-hole, somehow he could see. He was blessed, man. He could see it. He shoot the ball that way. You know what I mean? He would. Yeah. He would do whatever. I seen him. He struck out 11 times. Yeah. That was a good week for me. You know, 3 days. You know, that was a good 3 days. He was, but we never went over 100 times. You know, back in our day, we never struck out over. You know what I mean? Drive in 100, score 100, and not. You know that was production. But he, so he got me to be just knob to the ball. And guys always say, let the hit the inside of the ball, do this, do that. All you do is set the ball on the outside part of the plate, 4 or 5 inches. Keep your normal stance. Do whatever you have to do. Didn't change anything. Just take the knob to the ball. And that's all I did every single day. And you see me do it every single day in Cincinnati. And I'd rather do that and take BP. But we had to change a little bit of the culture in Cincinnati because we weren't taking BP enough, and then we got blown out the first 2 games after going to the World Series. I was like, this can't happen. You know what I mean? We had to change the culture. We're too good, too talented, and we have to expect more of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, Vaughnie, can you talk about that a little bit? Because you went from Milwaukee and you go to the Padres, and you're with guys now like Ricky Henderson and Tony Gwynn. For you in that 98 World Series, I go back, look at some of the videos, getting ready to talk to you today. Went deep twice against Boomer Wells in the World Series. You always were that big money player. Can you take us back to that time with those guys, with that 98 Padres team, Trevor Hoffman? There was some big dogs on that team. I think Kevin Brown on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Brown just throwing bowling ball sinkers up there. Can you go back to that team in 98 and what was so special about you guys? And you hit 50 home runs, but with some great Hall of Famers on that team.
Yeah, but for me, Case, what it was I think in spring training, me, I'm a prankster, a jokester, it started, we went to the playoffs in 97, 96, 97 was an off year, 98, same guys. We started early in spring training. Everyone had nicknames. They called me, Hootie. Just Tony Gwynn. Gary Coleman. Everyone had nicknames. No one was off limits. We had T-shirts. No one.
Gary Coleman.
Tony Gwynn was good. But even Tony bought into it, and it wasn't a knock on anybody. It was just right. But Wally Joyner played a big part of that team. We had Carlos Hernandez behind the plate, Kivio Harris. Everybody bought in. You know what I'm saying? So we had Cammy at third. Mr. Rest in peace. You know what I mean? Who was one of my closest friends.
What was he? I want to go. What was Cammy like, man? What was Ken Caminetti like?
Intense, man. Intense. But once again, one of the most giving, loving people you'll ever meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was blessed, man. I didn't play with too many guys that were a-holes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was blessed. You always hear about a few, and I tell my kids and I tell kids that I come across some people that most guys at that level aren't a-holes. They're good guys. They're good from Jeter to they're really good guys. You know, Maddox teaching my son Corey how to take the ball in his glove at the All-Star game.
Wow.
And still remembering that. So it's. But Cammy he was intense, do it from both sides of the plate, played hurt, broke. And that's the thing back then. We were scared if we took days off, someone was going to take our job. You know what I mean? You learn that at an early age. Hey, the difference between hurt and injury is a big difference. And so but we bought in. And so I remember one time I had a bad hammy, and I was out in spring training, and I had the stem unit on and we ain't stretching, it was just a rag session. So Wally gets Joey Hamilton's car. I called him Face because he was just all head and face, So he gets the Jack in the Box logo mascot, and he takes Joey's convertible Mercedes. He starts driving around the outfit. They're like, Bonnie, you got. And so we knew it was going to play out. And Wally's sitting up there like he's the Jack in the Box, enjoying his car. You know what I mean? And it's just things like that. But Wally was really, I mean, consistent, great player, and he was like, everybody just get on base 2 times. That was our goal. Same thing, I tried to implement when I got. Hey, yeah, I don't care who the hero is. Just everybody get on base 2 times, and every day, just like in 99 case, it was a different guy every single day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whether it's Jeffrey Hammonds, Michael Tucker, Cam, Meat Hook, every day it was a different player. And as long as you play for the name on the front, and we all, we're playing for our livelihood, so you have to, be a little bit selfish inside, but if you start to play the game for the name on the front, the back will take care of itself.
I like that.
So that's what we implemented in San Diego. And when you got Kevin Brown out there freaking taking the ball every 5 days, and you got Hoffy when Hell's Bells came on, and you knew the game was over.
Run for the hills.
Yeah. Dan Maselli and Mark Langston and guys like that. Everybody just bought into the role. We didn't care who got it done, just as long as we got it done.
Yes. You ever think back to that moment in the World Series when I think it was like a turning point. Mark Langston is 2-2 on Tino Martinez, throws the ball right down the middle.
And we're winning. Yeah, I'm running off the field. The whole team's running off. Tino's walking back. Tino puts the back down. His bases loaded. He's walking back.
Unbelievable.
We're running off the field. Richie Garcia says, "Ball." I was in out. Me, Case. I lost it. I'm in the outfield. And the base umpire's telling me to settle down. Bunny, to keep it quiet. And left field umpire's telling me I'm like, next pitch, grand slam.
And you guys were good enough. That was the one, that was the Yankees. They were crowned halfway through the season. What did you guys take into that series going, we can beat these guys? And honestly, by the way, if he strikes out there, that entire series would have been different than it played out.
Now we get the ball to Trevor, and we're going to the 9th inning.
Yeah.
And
win on the road. You would have won on the road at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, at game 1 with the 2-run lead in the ninth, that changed the whole dynamic. But you know what? It's just like, if you ran across the Bulls during that era with Michael and those guys, it was one of those things that, made them the dynasty that they are. That, you not only do you have to be, I think, good, you have to be lucky. My old coach at University of Miami, Ron Fraser, said, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. Uncle Ron, and I'm a firm believer, you need a lot of luck also, Like, you need that ball to bounce certain ways. Certain guys, it didn't matter who you played against, what team you played with them, against them. They hit a ball, it was always like a half an inch away from the infielder or outfielder. Somehow, mine was always a half an inch into his glove. You know what I mean? So it's it was a buzzsaw, but that did change it, but like I said, I think the thing that hurt the most is the way the city of San Diego rallied with us, but we didn't get another chance, man. It was almost like the fire sale. You know what I mean? It was like everybody's gone, and we didn't get another run at it. That's the part that hurt.
How did that feel for you, Vaughn? 15 home runs in 1998. Next thing you know, you're a Cincinnati Red. Obviously, for all of us, it was unbelievable. But for you initially, how did you feel about being traded, after that big season you had?
Once again, it didn't surprise me, but it's surprising. You know what I'm saying? I the way it happened, especially when they tell you, like, Kevin KT, who was a good guy, but Bonnie, you're not getting traded 2 days, 3, 4 weeks before spring training, 2 weeks before, and then I'm like, all right, but we see Kevin Brown go to the Dodgers, we see, Finley go. I think he went to the Diamondbacks. We see certain guys start to go, off the team. But that's the only time Tony ever got really pissed off, because I was under contract and they knew I would took less to even stay there. I was going into my free agent year. But they had, different ideas in the direction they wanted to go. And next thing I know, I get a call from the late Marge Schott, like at 4 o'clock in West Coast time, a.m., and I thought it was a nightmare, a bad dream,
Maybe you're thinking she might be having a couple too many cocktails. She's still up.
Yeah. It was like, Mommy, this is Greg, this is Marge Schott, man. I'm like, who's calling at 4 o'clock? I'm thinking, making sure everybody's okay. And I think I'm having a nightmare. She goes, I just want to say congratulations. You've been traded to the Cincinnati Reds. And I was like, is this a dream? I was in shock. You know what I mean? Because I had to learn from her, not the own general manager or the organization telling me that I got traded. You know what I mean? Right. I poured my heart and soul, good or bad. You know how I play, Case. I leave it all out there. Yep. Good or bad. Every day, show up, pack a lunch. And then that happened, and it wasn't a very good feeling. But once I got to spring training, and first, Nancy tells me I got to shave my goatee. And then
You changed history.
Tell that
You
story.
changed history, bro, forever with the Cincinnati Reds. Tell that story.
Yeah. Then I was like, I don't think I'm showing up. You might want to get your players back. So I was like, but if I did, at this age, Case, if I did it all over again, out of respect to the Fosters and the Roses and the Benches and, Concepcion and all the great players that played for the Big Red Machine, I probably would have shaved.
Huh.
You know what I
mean?
Really? But I'm a West Coast guy, man. I consider myself like a little bit not hippie-ish, but you know what? I believe this has nothing to do with me playing baseball. Wow. But once again, it was a rule. But in 1999, I think it was time for things to change. You know what I mean? And we have to evolve. But out of respect to those guys, I wish, I didn't. But once I got there, I can tell you, it was one of the funnest teams I've ever played on in my entire life. Yeah. I had some of the best young talent, and I got to play with a friend of mine, Barry Larkin, who didn't say a whole lot, but we had the same agent. But the young guys that I got, they weren't, we're doing the game a favor. No, these guys brought a Case, Boney, Pokey, Mike Cameron, Dimitri, Jeffrey Hammonds, Michael Tucker, and all the young pitcher staff. They brought it every single day. You know what I mean? And we pulled together, and they believed. And we probably had more fun than anybody in baseball. All we had to do was win one more game in Milwaukee. But we started the series. I think we started one game at 11 o'clock. Last game of the year, we started like at 12.
I know. It was crazy. It was crazy. Hey, Vonnie, you talk about that last series because, I always think back. I was young. I didn't really understand. But I remember the night before we had a day off before we started that first game in Milwaukee. I believe we had to win 2 out of 3, and we win it. We don't even have to worry about the Astros or the Mets. 2 out of 3, we're in the postseason. And I remember we had the bids meeting that night. Do you remember that? We talked about what, if we go to the postseason, you end up who gets a full share. The shares meeting. Who gets a full share? Who do we give it to? And I was young back then, to understand. But I look back, I was like, was that the wrong thing to do at that time? To have the shares meeting before we even got in?
Yeah, I didn't understand why we were having it. I'm like, well, why did you put the cart in front of the horse? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, we have to get there. And, we win the first, and then all we had to do was one of the last 2 games. Yeah. And knowing the Milwaukee Brewers the way I know them, they took pride in going out there and beating us. We were at the ballpark for day games at, 10 o'clock in the morning, didn't play till 11, 10 at night, 12.
It's crazy.
But we didn't take care of business, and maybe, that bit us in the butt a little bit. We put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah.
And, but like I said, man, that team is, and those guys on that team were probably some of the funnest times of baseball I ever had. And I didn't expect that, but but we had to change some things. We had to change the way we ate, but we had to change a lot of things.
I remember you're like, we can't keep bringing these chicken wings in here. We're freaking big league. We're a big league ball club. We got to change the spread. You had the cappuccino machine. And I also remember, Vonnie, you used to put this it was icy hot times a million, and you'd have it all over your body. I'm like, Vonnie, how are you even functioning? If I put that on my shoulder, it's like 3rd-degree burns. Why didn't talk about that, dude? What was that cream you used to put on before the games that was icy hot? It smelled so bad.
Well, you know what? That was Jamie Moyer stuff. When I played an All-Star game in Baltimore, and like I said, after all these surgeries, I'd rather be hot than cold at any time. So I rubbed a little on, and I'm like, I need to get some of that. So the trainer gave me some, and then they made it somewhere in Baltimore. But then ever since then, me and Trevor Hoffman used it all the time. And Tony Gwynn put it on one time. I think he was crying. I mean, guy, you couldn't put it on. And if you got in the shower, I just got used to it. But I had to do it because, you know, that was the way I prepared to play. I had to do that to get ready to play, you know. And so with that being said, that was just part of my ritual, you know. And like I said, man, I enjoyed playing. If I look back, there's probably times I shouldn't have played to protect my body, and maybe the numbers and the career could have been better, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
you posted, bro. We all appreciated that so much about you. I think, but you don't understand, bro. When you left, you know, you set such a tone for the guys like us. Like we were like, we're going to do it like Greg Vaughn does. We're going to treat each other the way, you know, he treated us. You know, I think we were a little devastated when you left and went to the Rays in 2000. But when you left, when you went to the Rays for those 3 years, man, you know, Chinch and I were joking. We found this cover. It was like you, Canseco, Vinny Castilla, and Fred McGriff, the crime dog. Like, what was that like for you going to Tampa? You got the big contract. There it is right there. There it is right there. The Bay Bombers.
I can't tell you what it changed to, you know, like a quarter of the way through the season, you know, the S show. Instead of the Big Bombers, it was the S show. So, you know, by All-Star break, I think I was the only one left on that team.
Yeah.
Maybe Freddie was, you know, but it didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the time, you guys, you got the best player in the game. You got Junior. Ken Griffey Jr. was coming home to play.
Yeah.
Know? And Greg Vaughn, Ken Griffey Jr., I'm taking Junior every single time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not a comparison. But I think the ultimate compliment and what I played for was the respect of my teammates and the people I played against. And that next year, you know, we made it to the playoffs, and I think you guys sort of tanked with the best player. Yeah. And you know, every time someone said something, you know, whether it was you, Boney, somebody was like, Bonnie, we miss Bonnie. Bonnie, you know what I mean? We miss Bonnie. It was a team and not whatever it was at that time.
I can speak to that for Sean, not for Sean, but knowing Sean and all the things he's told me about you. But we've also, like, between Dimitri, Danny Graves, every single guy that you played with on that team
brings you up.
Learned without a question. What is Vaughn? They said they would look to you when they were struggling. They would look at you when you were struggling. I think it was Dimitri was like, I watched him after his bad at bats, and he would go back to the club, to the dugout, and I would watch his reactions and try to learn from his reactions. I can't tell you, knowing Casey and knowing that he has all these friends, how much you impacted not only like their team but their lives. I don't want to speak for you on that, Sean, but I mean,
no, it's amazing, Vaughn, because we have a lot of guys from that team on, and your name. That's why I was like, we got to get Vaughn on. I mean, freaking this guy comes up indirectly every interview we do with a Reds player from that team.
You know what, though? But like I said, though, man, but it's a testament to you guys too. I mean, all you guys are great players, and I was no different than, like I said, than Dave Parker, Willie Randolph, Robin Yount, Paul Myers,
pass the buck.
You know, I just tried to, you know what I mean? Pass the torch, and, you know, you guys took it, and you guys, you know, I guess, you know, learned from me. You learned from Lark. You know, Lark didn't talk.
Lark was great.
Yeah, but he led by example. I mean, this is the first team I ever played on that I didn't watch a fumble being hit to the infielders. They played every single ball live in BP. Every single ball. So it's like they played 6 games in a day. You know what I mean? And they didn't take fumbles. They played everything live, and Lark set the tone for that. And it was awesome for me being in left field, because between Boney and Lark on that side, I didn't have to. There weren't a lot of ground balls getting through. You know what I mean? And it was, but like I said, man, it was a blessing, you know, to have you guys, you know, underneath me, to play with you guys, Denny Nagel, and all those guys. I mean,
Harnish.
You know, we're still doing the fantasy football. You know, their team is still close. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, it wasn't so much me, but, you know, it was a testament to you guys and you being willing to accept things. You know, not everything I said was right or true, but if I, you know, this game is mental. Yeah, hey,
Big time.
you know what? Sometimes, I had to mind trick myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, what does 4 o'clock have to do at 7 o'clock?
Right.
We play at 7. I see a lot of All-Stars at 4 o'clock. It has nothing to do with 4 o'clock and 7. You know, as long as you can be professional and show up when it's game time, that's what it's all about.
Yep. What about you, Vaughnie, man? I always like to ask guys that have been to multiple All-Star games. You went to 4 All-Star games. You got a great All-Star game story that you look back on and say, man, that was really cool that happened?
Well, yeah, I got one that wasn't so cool. That was well, once again, you know, in Philly, we're playing, and the gala the night before, I think our list was just coming on and starting to do, and I was about to do something like do a little something with them, and then my wife, who was my ex now at the time, brought me some food. She brought me lamb, you know what I mean, or something. And I know it was at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm calling the trainers. I'm sick as a dog in the morning, and I got next thing I know, I got 2 IVs in each arm. You know what I mean? Because I missed the picture. The only thing I remember is Cal Ripken Jr. saying, "Scoot over, Bonnie." That's when Roberto Fernandez, he slipped and he fell and he elbowed Cal in the nose and broke his nose. So Cal had to lay on the bench. Like, "Scoot over, Bonnie." And so I got 2 IVs and the Cal's over here going, get his nose back so he can go back. And that happened during the team picture, you know. So I missed that All-Star game.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't leave that training table. I don't think. Yeah, it was fit. I was a good diet. You know what I mean? I don't know if I needed one, but I went back to Milwaukee like probably 15 pounds lighter. You know what I mean?
What's the moral? What's the moral of the story there?
I do not eat lamb. You know what I mean? I will not touch lamb. I don't want to smell it. Nothing to do with it.
Oh,
nothing.
man.
Oh my God, so good. All right, Vaughnie, we have a couple things left that we like to do. We like to play a little game. Who owned you and who did you own?
Well, I mean, that's bad karma, but I mean, who owned me? You know, there's a lot of guys that own me. Shoot. Early in my career, Roger Clemens, you know what I mean? Because I tried to do too much against him.
Did you?
But Dave Stewart, you know, I owned, you know, I don't want to say owned. I had good success.
No, we looked at Chinch. What are the numbers against Dave Stewart?
I'll pull those numbers on. Keep going here. They're up there, though. I think it was 8 homers.
8 homers off Dave Stewart.
Yeah, I hit, you know, I was fortunate. Anytime we played the A's or the Giants, you know, being a Northern California kid,
right?
I played good against team.
You upped your game against the hometown. When you left tickets for family members, you dominated. Basically, you dominated. You had to put on a show.
I had a good time. You know, but you know, shoot, Mariano, I wasn't so good against him.
Nobody was.
Let's see. We got 8 homers, 20 ribbies in 46 at bats for Dave Stewart. Bobby Witt, 5 bombs. Wow, you hit 5 homers off a lot of people that played professional baseball. Danny Darwin, Scott Erickson, who during your time was one of the nastiest dudes in the league. Sidney Ponson, 5 dingers. You want to hear the strikeouts, though? Is that a good thing? Clemens caged 25 times. It's more than anybody. And then
he was trying to go deep. He was trying to go deep off Clemens.
And Blackjack McDowell got you 22 times, but not too many guys had your number here on these lists.
But Blackjack. I think it switched. You know, after one time he threw at me, and I called time during the game, and I said, "I will be room service. I will get you before the gates open. I will get you in your locker room." I said, "You hit me, you better, you know what, kill me." I mean, because I take a good swing, and like you said, he struck me out 22 times. But I have kids, and you're going to throw at my head? I will be room service, I swear to God. I'm going to get you in the hotel. I'll get you before the gates open. The case smells, I would do it, too. And he didn't throw him aside anymore after that.
Wow.
And the funny thing, in Seattle, at the All-Star game, me, Corey, my daughter, and my ex were in the elevator, and Blackjack comes in with his family. Corey goes, "Yeah, that's the guy you want to kill right there, huh?" I go, yeah. And we're on the same team.
That's great. Oh my goodness.
Hey, anything to get him to stop throwing inside. You know what I mean? Hey, I'll meet you at your room here soon. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can go inside, just don't throw it in my head. You know what I mean?
Right. Dude, speaking of that, we were looking through some stuff, and dude, there was some, obviously brawls were, a good bench clear every once in a while is an adrenaline rush in a fight. But I think when you were first coming up, that's when the fights were, I always felt like were a little different, a little more elevated than they are nowadays. The one fight was against the Brewers and the Mariners. Do you remember that bench clear? It looked like an absolute brawl.
No, but the thing about it, Case, we fought 2 years in a row, and we played A and B games. We fought during the A and B games. Then we fought during the season. It was just something about that. It was going to go down, and then it was like when I got to the Rays, us and the Red Sox, we always fought.
Yeah.
But then we started hitting Omar 6 times in a row, and because Pedro's hit,
hit Gerald Williams when Gerald Williams charged. That was an unbelievable fight.
During a no-hitter.
We went to his locker room too. We went to the locker room, and and I love Pedro. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, what gives you the right? And you can throw inside. You can miss guys. You got to take the plate. But when you start threatening guys' careers and stuff like that, man, you got to do something different. Like you said, I'll be room sir. I will get you somewhere.
Just ask Harold. We were watching the first game, and we were both close with Harold Reynolds. And man, you must have thrown him 25 feet at one point when you guys were all in a scrum together.
Yeah, and Harold was my boy. His brother was my first agent. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's amazing.
I think most of it, is a lot of just pushing and shoving, man. But there's some guys you don't like, and some guys. Like I said, Nolan Ryan, man, you're going to have to pack a lunch. You know what I mean? Some guys, intimidation, but like back then it was different. And I used to see guys carry bats to second base. Every hit. During our era, man, it was different. It was different. Yeah. I mean, if the number 3 guy got hit or the big guy got hit, we know our number 3 or 4 guy was going to get hit. And hopefully that was going to be it. But sometimes, bad teams, I don't think played by that rule. They just kept hitting guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
God.
Some guys, like I said, man, hey, Double D, Dan Darwin, you got to pack a lunch, man. And the boys from South Texas. And then, like I said, it's different types of strengths, but that going in, and you couldn't be intimidated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as they put their pants on the same way I did, I got a chance. You just got to go first. You know what I mean? Don't be late to the party.
I love it, bro. I love it. Hey, the last thing we do, it's called 9 and 90. It's just a game we play. A couple funny questions, 9 questions. Chinch gives them to me. I answer first. You answer second. You good with that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Chinch.
Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster Marty Brenneman here. It's time for 9 in 90, the most ridiculous segment in all of sports.
Good job, Sean. That was the best explanation we've given so far. All right. Yes. Ready? Here we go. First one, Sean, kind of simple one. If your kids asked you to build them a treehouse, could you do it?
No chance. I'd have to definitely hire somebody to come build a treehouse. There's no chance of me. That's why I made some money in the big leagues. I'd pay somebody.
Greg?
I'm jumping on that bandwagon too. Bad shoulders, man. I can't lift wood up over. I can't lift arms over my head. That's when I'm doing hot yoga.
There you go. Oh, great. You got this game. All right, Sean, this is a tough one. You have to take one punch from Mike Tyson, but you have the choice: gut shot or head shot.
Oh, I'm going to take the gut shot because if he hits me in the head, he's got a shot to kill me. But if he hits me in the ribs, if he hits me in the stomach, there's no doubt I'm going to break like 6 ribs, but I'll take that first.
I think I'm going head just so I get knocked out because in the gut, I won't remember much. In the head, that's a big concussion in football. But the gut shot, I mean, there's no coming back from that. You know what I mean? I got hit twice where I thought the ball, Daryl Kyle and Doc Gooden, who's Shep's uncle, they hit me one time, and I looked on the other side to see if the ball came out. You know what I mean?
Like a bullet hole?
That doesn't go away.
Wow. All right, good one. All right, Sean, what's worse, bad breath from somebody in your face or bad body odor of somebody sitting next to you?
I'm going to have to say the bad breath. No, you know what? Yeah, the bad breath. Someone's got like garlic breath or something, just crushing an Italian meal. Like, what's going on, man? I'm like, damn, what's going on with your breath?
Yeah, those guys that just they smell like that all the time, though, and they want to be talked to you like this close. and I'm like, try not to breathe for the duration of the conversation. Body odor. Like I said, we had some guys that I didn't think shower. We took their clothes to make sure they shower. We changed that.
Yeah. All right, general people. I'm not talking like immediate family members. I'm talking like friends and whatever. You see that they're calling your cell phone. Are you excited that they're calling, or are you annoyed that they didn't text you first?
Nowadays, I used to like the calls, but nowadays I'm looking maybe for a quick text before they call.
You said not family members?
Yeah.
So close friends?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk to close friends. I'd rather, because I'm the worst text. I think it's dictation. You know what I mean? It's just run on sentences and ebonics through and through.
Oh, Vaughny's the worst texter. When I started texting him a couple of days ago to come on the show, I'm like, Vaughny, love to have you on the show. He's like, okay. So then I'm like, oh, okay. And I text him back, hey, bro, listen, I'm going to send you a link. Good. And I'm like, gee, this guy's, I exchanged 18 texts with Vaughny, 18 words came back.
Straight to the point, Case. Straight to the point.
That's great. Perfect. All right. You have to binge watch one of these shows. Maybe you've watched all three, but pick one of these. Breaking Bad, Tiger King, or Squid Games.
Oh, Breaking Bad, definitely. I Tiger King and Squid Game, whatever. I know they're big, but like, I'd rather watch a good show.
Okay.
I just want to see how screwed up the world is that everybody was turned on to Tiger King. That was the craziest show, dumbest show I've ever seen in my life, I think.
Oh, my God.
And it was one of the most famous watched shows ever. I'm like,
unbelievable.
Something's wrong with us.
Yeah. No, but it does make you look and go, well, life ain't that bad, I guess, right?
There you go.
Okay, good one. All right, here's a tough one. Sean, you find a snake in your bathtub. Do you scream, run out, lock the door, and wait for an expert, or face it like a man and capture it yourself?
Oh, I scream, run, then lock the door and call an expert. That's what I do.
Hey, now, as tough as I try to be on the field, zero chance. I don't care if it's a garden snake, a rattlesnake. I'm screaming, locking the door, and putting stuff underneath the door to make sure it doesn't come out.
Okay, I had to adjust this next question because you guys talked about the hot yoga here. Let's just pose this to Greg and not Sean. Actually, no, I'll go to you first, Sean. What would you look more ridiculous doing, Sean Casey, hot yoga or Pilates?
I've done Pilates before. I think I kind of looked a little ridiculous there, but I think hot yoga, I just don't know if I could take it. I can't even barely sleep at night, if it's not on 65 or below. Like, I open the windows in the wintertime in Pittsburgh. Like, I might die from hot yoga.
Definitely. I did a hot Pilates class. I was the only guy in there. I have a different respect for women because the poses and the stances that they can get into.
Right.
I had no chance.
Okay, great. All right, last two. You're sending food back at a restaurant. Sean, yes, do it, or just leave it alone and eat.
No, I just wear it. Like it happened to me the other day.
Really?
I ordered I was at a deli with my daughter, wanted to get this turkey sandwich. I ordered an egg salad, little thing egg salad. They gave me the tuna salad, and I'm like, I haven't had tuna salad in years, but it was terrible. It turned out it was terrible. I was like, I should have returned it, got the egg salad, but I don't usually return things. I just eat it and wear it.
Definitely don't. I don't send things back. If I send it back, I'm good. I'm not going to eat that. I'm done eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hopefully they take it off the bill.
Nice. Okay, last one. Two big boys right here. You're in Milwaukee. It's a bratwurst eating competition between Sean Casey and Greg Vaughn. Who wins?
Case.
Just like that.
I don't eat brats. Case wins.
Hey, Vaughny, I never told you this story. Back, I think it was 99 that year. Rosie, the club, he would put out brats, and I ate 3 brats before a game one day, and I had to crap my pants like the 5th inning. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get in that thing. I ended up having 9 hits in 9 days. I ate 9 brats before the game, but it turned out that it was a bad move because I think I have intestinal problems from it. But 9 brats in 9 days, 9 knocks.
See, hey, you know what? I wish you would have told me that. I would have ate brats, but we had them all the time. I just can't eat something that doesn't look done to me. You know what I mean? It's just, and then they put sauerkraut and all that other stuff. My kid, and no disrespect to brats,
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not a big brat guy.
It's a Milwaukee staple, bro. It's a Milwaukee staple.
There you go. That was 9 and 90, one of the best ones yet.
Yes, Vonnie. Hey, Vonnie, I just want to tell you, man, thank you so much for the 18 texts you sent me because that communication was great. But it was great seeing you a few weeks ago in Cincinnati, man. It just you bring back such great memories for me. You're such a great guy, man. And I really appreciate you coming on this week with us, brother. And looking forward to seeing you down the road at some point here soon.
Oh, hey, you're one of my favorites, man. Like I said, that team will always be special to me. But anytime I see you, it's you light up the room, Case. You know what I mean? It's like, the mayor's office. I mean, he is the mayor.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. Happy holidays to you and your family. You guys enjoy it. Namaste. And
Namaste.
Stay safe, man.
All right, Vonnie. Thanks, brother. Happy holidays to you too, brother. And I'll see you down the road, my man.
Okay, see you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, Shawnee. You continue to bring on the big boys, Sean. Continue to bring on the big boys, don't you?
All right, now it's time to go to the golf course.
All right,
Vonnie, good luck. Hit him straight, brother. Hit him straight.
All right, see you.
See you, buddy.
Oh, man.
Vonnie leave?
Yeah, he's out.
Dude, that was great.
So great. So great. Oh, I can tell you my favorite part is he is such when he just said namaste at the end, it made so much sense to me because he's such a chill guy now. And he was the most intimidating guy. But then when he got into talking about somebody throwing at his head, you could see it changed. Incredible Hulk, his shirt starting to rip off. Oh my God. So cool.
Oh my gosh, dude. So cool. Dude, it's funny too to look back at Vonnie came up with Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
Locker next to Yount all those years. Paul Molitor, Dave Parker, and then he goes to San Diego, plays with Ricky Henderson.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn's one of his best friends.
Yeah.
Then he comes to us, Trevor Hoffman. These are Hall of Famers.
Right.
Then he comes to us, plays with a lot of great players, Barry Larkin, and then finishes up. But just looking back at his story, man, that's what's fun about this show, bro, is that you can really dive into some good friends that you have. You really learn more about them in this hour. It's just really cool.
Right. Even think about it for you personally. You got to meet this completed leader because he grew up as a kid with those guys you mentioned. Then when he gets to San Diego, he gets into that middle, of the lineup type thing, but he's still got those guys. And by the time he came to you guys, he was ready to lead an entire team. And from what you and all the other guys always say, he's probably one of the biggest leaders you've ever played with in your life.
One of the greatest leaders I've ever played with. And like I said, I think the one thing about Vonnie was no one was going to outwork him. He was a guy that you never knew if he was 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. And he was always pulling for everybody on the team. I mean, it was just, we won 96 games that year in 99. We were supposed to finish last. And he was a big part of that. So, like I said, man, I saw him a few weeks ago at the Legends softball game there. Johnny Bench was managing the team. Barry Larkin and Vonnie was there, and just a lot of former Reds. But to see a guy like Greg Vaughn back, man, although he was there 1 year in Cincinnati, he impacted that organization and that team. I mean, a lot of people go back to that 99 Reds team and say that's one of their favorite teams ever. I know for us, any guy that played on that team that played 10 to 15, 20 years in the big leagues would say that 99 Reds team was one of their favorites.
Yeah, I'm so glad we had him on finally because that's another piece of that puzzle. And we keep bringing guys on. Harnish, we're coming for you at some point.
Yeah, we're getting Harnish.
Everybody brings up Harnish too.
Yeah, what a beauty. What a beauty of a human.
Nice.
All right, man. That was awesome, Chinch. Oh, yeah, we were going to say, too.
Oh, yeah.
We just got these Mayor's Office shirts in, so, I'm like, what the heck? I'll wear it on the show. But we were thinking, hey, if anybody wants to tweet it out, send us a tweet why you want this shirt. Game used. I'll send it to you. I'll sign it if I can, too. I'll probably sign it right there or something.
Right.
Send
Reach
it
out to us
guys,
either on our YouTube page. You guys do great comments on there. Those are probably where we get the best comments. Right why you deserve this Mayor's Office dirty, sweaty Sean Casey game-worn T-shirt.
I'll wash it. It's an extra large, so whoever fits into an extra large.
Yeah. So whenever, comment on whatever. Maybe we'll put a post out today, right? Just put a post and just remind people. Comment here into why you deserve this shirt.
first ever the mayor's office game used shirt.
Yeah. All right, man. But again,
It's like an NFT, the non-fungible token. You know what I mean? Have these nowadays. Oh, does this count as an NFT? I don't know.
That's
Jesus.
fine. Anyway.
All right, man. Hey, all the people out there, thanks for listening to us. We're very, very, very grateful. And keep listening, tune in. You can hear great guests like Greg Vaughn and really cool stuff. So, Chichi, I love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
I will see you next week, my man. Thank you, bro.